the heart is the true navigator, the true director of our experience of what's potential and what's possible for us. Our head, and we're all conditioned this way, that we get caught up by this crazy making, I'm in control type of thing. Well, I'm in control of the thoughts that I allow to stay in my head.
Debz is a stressologist. She will stretch your mindset to think bigger than you've ever thought before, with follow-through techniques that are realistic and achievable to blow any fear out of your mind. Moira is a mindset cultivator. She will help you align your personal trinity of self-trust, inner awareness, and self-confidence so that you discover and share your unique gifts and purpose. Together, their goal with these conversations is to share how our inclinations do not always work in our best interest, and to provide the knowledge to leverage the gifts that already exist within each one of us. Their desire is to help you learn how to access the habits and behaviors that will lead to positive change and your best quality of life. Welcome to your deliciously motivated mindset.
Hello there, dear Deb. Here we are. Good morning.
Afternoon.
Good afternoon. Evening.
Good evening. Hello.
Here we are with another deliciously motivating conversation. Well, at least we hope they're deliciously motivating. That's the intention, right?
Blooming better be.
We like to start our conversations, and so here's what we're going to talk about today is how can we avoid overthinking? This is a fun topic because I think we all do this. We can all get into some aspect of this. But before we do this, we like to just have us and you, dear listeners, to check in with yourself. How are you feeling? How are you feeling mentally, emotionally? How are you feeling physically? And just rate yourself on a scale of 0 to 10. So at 10, you're feeling like, oh my God, I have to do this and I have to do this and I need this and I'm feeling off my game. And 0 is like, totally zen. At 1 with everything in the universe.
10's off the charts, yeah.
Yeah, 10's like, OMG. They haven't figured me out yet.
Yeah, haven't even figured myself out. I would possibly say today I'm a 5.
Okay. And
a
for
5.
Me, you're at a 5. Okay, I think
maybe a 4.5.
You better write it down because I'm going to check in with you.
Oh my gosh, I do this. Okay, I'm going to say 4.5. 4.5. I've written it down.
I'm just going to say I'm a 3. At 3. I had a beautiful walk in the woods today, and so I'm feeling pretty okay.
Pretty zen-like.
Pretty zen-like. But you know, there's always room for improvement.
Well, you've got room for improvement. You've got to bump up a few more levels. Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to say a 4.5. But I have to giggle because how can we avoid overthinking our topic today? How are we going to do this? Overthinking. Straight away. I went, how are we going to do this in our time frame? What are you thinking? This is going to be way more than this. This is going to be like 2, 3, 4, 5 podcasts. How do we avoid overthinking? I did. I literally, as soon as you said that, I was like, how are we going to do this in our time frame?
Well, so then, so here's the thing. Maybe it is a multi-part topic, but the key. So to me, you know,
just going to pause you. Just see everybody how she just stopped the overthinking and went straight into, well, we can just change the rules. Yeah. We can just change the rules. Boom, just like that. And I'm going, okay, all right, I'll let you carry on now.
And that's actually a really good point because, you know, to me, sometimes that whole propensity for overthinking is because we do set up these rules. You know, it should be this way and it shouldn't be this way and we've got to have it like that person or like that group of people. It's like, no, you don't. Guess what? You get to make this up as you go along. So here's the other part of it all too, is just because you find yourself stuck and overthinking and being panicky,
yeah.
Just stop for a wee minute and say, who are you trying to prove something to? You know, sometimes thinking too much is because you feel like you have to be or act or be seen in a specific way based upon what you think other people think of you. Follow that loop.
Yes. Okay. So when you started talking about how can we avoid overthinking, and then I looked at my numbers on my piece of paper in front of me, a 4.5 and a 3, and I went, and this is really interesting because I then went, oh, gosh, the listeners are going, gosh, Deborah, you're right out of the zone compared to Moira. Moira's more Zen than you. And I then went into, I know, this is overthinking. This is me who very rarely overthinks. Well, I'd like to think I very rarely overthink. But then I went, wow, that's a bit of a difference, a 4.5 and a 3. And then went, imagine if you left that at a 5. That's definitely 2. It's a difference. So my whole mind then went, blah, 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 blah. This whole created
this lovely big story.
Created this massive story of BS, overthinking. And then you're like, so, and who is that person? Who is it? What did you say? You said something like, who is that person you have to prove? Well, it was you, listeners. Okay, so it's your fault that I then went into overthinking. So scoop that one up, Moira. But that's how quick.
Don't take that personally, dear listeners. It's not your fault. It's not your fault.
It's Deborah's 4.5 compared to Moira's 3. But isn't that interesting? Because you did say that, and I started going, okay, go to a time when you're overthinking. So it's really going to help me get my message across to listeners. And then I looked at my piece of paper and I've got 4.53. And then I went, oh, and without even consciously, I then went, oh my gosh, listeners are going to think Moira's more Zen than you. And that just ran very quickly, that little story. Now, listeners, I'm still going to sleep at night if you think Moira's more Zen than me. I'm just going to say that right now. Hand on my heart, I'm going to sleep at night still if you think that Moira's more Zen than me.
I'm so relieved to hear that. I'm so relieved to hear that. And so
look how quick it took me
to go into that loop.
Overthinking, yeah.
Oh, I know. Isn't that fascinating? But also to your point, so here's something that I really want to draw your attention to and draw our listeners' attention to. The fact that you dropped into the awareness of what you did, to me, is super important. Because you see, it's a human condition. We all do it. We all do the, oh my God, my number's higher or lower. But that means they're going to think this. It's like, okay. Take a deep breath. What do you really want to feel right now? And you actually also said, hand on your heart, and you know this about me. That's one of the best ways I know how to stop that chattering mind and just go,
absolutely.
Okay, my heart just said it, all is well. I am okay. You're okay.
This is totally a story that you're running with that is, and I'm not going to say it's irrelevant, because it definitely stirs you up and makes you think, but it is a level of irrelevance.
Yes.
Yeah.
So here's the thing to me, this is how I live my life about thinking. And before we hopped onto our call, we were just talking about some exercises that I'm going through to really shake loose of that overthinking and say, recommit to what is my purpose? What is my direction? What is the right thing for me to do? It's kind of very much inspiring me to watch my thoughts and thank them. I think gratitude for thinking, overthinking, is an important part, right? Because that propensity to overthink is based upon a pattern that's trying to keep us safe. But it's oftentimes based on a story or a pattern that doesn't exist anymore, and we are actually safe.
We've evolved from when that story was first created.
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely. And so sometimes it's a good exercise to just acknowledge, oh, there's that story, or there's that pattern that came up, when I was a child, or when I was in a dysfunctional relationship, or when I was doing something that didn't align with my core. It's okay, self. I am okay. I am safe. I am on track. I am in alignment with my calling. And when we do that to ourselves, that to me also silences the chatter, because it's kind of like, oh, okay, now got anything else to tell you then.
Yeah, you're shutting it down, but you're shutting it down graciously and eloquently. It's okay.
Yeah,
it's okay.
Yeah.
And it has a difference of, I'm not even thinking like that, I'm not going for that, and that's that erratic, chaotic mindset. Oh, I'm just going to throw you out the side. You're going out the window. I'm not even going to deal with you. Blah blah blah.
Yes.
But it's actually okay. It's actually okay with what I've just learned, how I feel right now, and you're in a different heartfelt physical space as you are mentally into a space.
Absolutely. And to your point there too, it's really important to focus on what you just said. When you get into that more resisty type of, I'm not going to do that, I'm not going to listen to that, guess what is really heard inside you is more of that. I'm going to fixate and
give me more of that. Show me that at a different level. Show me that at a different angle.
Exactly. So it's kind of like, it's to always remember that your subconscious or your inner working doesn't know the words no or not.
Yeah.
Right. So if I'm going to say, no, I'm not going to think this, then it's this that I'm going to keep looping on it. It's stuck in that loop.
Well, it's when we get stuck in our mind and we repeat those things over and over and overthinking.
Yep.
And then you have a different scenario. So we watched a movie the other night. It was a weird movie.
Okay.
It was a weird movie, and I'm like, okay, I'm just going to ride this one out. I'm just going to ride this one out. And we watched this movie, and then it came to the point of watching at the end when we were thinking, this where is this turning to? And they had different scenarios. If the person who took the drug was a different person. So if the person who took a drug was a different person, how would the scenario play out? And I was like, oh, this is interesting. So there was 9 people at a table that took a drug, and then it came to the point of how are they going to do it? And they all played the whole scenario out differently. So this is what we do when we overthink. I'm just trying to pull this back to you. Overthinking is we go, now if this had happened this way, or if I just said this one thing this way, this would have been better for me. Or if so-and-so had reacted differently, or if the sun had been shining that day instead of the wet, or if I didn't react when, and it's that whole, we create, I don't know, did you ever have books when you were younger that they had different endings?
Yeah.
When you read something, and they were cool books.
They were great books.
But that's about the overthinking as well. That's that whole, if we'd turned to chapter 32 instead of chapter 31, we would have had a different scenario. And then we could have
different experience of it. Yeah.
Yeah. And this is where our overthinking comes to. But we choose the best option every time we overthink. When in reality, if we just stop and actually go, instead of just going, okay, well, I'm going to say if I'd said that. Well, actually, you didn't say that. So right now, like you talked about gratitude, right now, if I hadn't have said that, if it hadn't have been, what would have been the perceived negatives of that? So actually, what am I grateful for me saying that?
Right. Or so even just what can I appreciate? Rather than what am I grateful, what can I appreciate because I'm right here?
Yeah, what can I appreciate in this moment of this overthinking and this whatever? But our overthinking makes us create 10 different stories. If only I'd turned left and not turned right, or if only I'd said that and not that, or if only I wore that red top and not my blue top. And it is that whole scenario of the movie, and the books. But we create such amazing stories.
We do, but do you know the other part of all this is to really watch, because all of those stories and all of those scenarios are actually knocking you out of the present moment. You ain't here. And so it's like, who cares if you should have worn the red top, or you should have brushed your teeth with your left hand, or made your call a different way, or whatever. It doesn't really matter what it is. It's like, nope, I chose this, and that's it.
And that's exactly it. And so it's just, this is what I've chose.
Yeah.
This is what I have literally right here in front of me on my piece of paper. This is the reality of what's happened.
And then have some compassion and no more stories.
I think the compassion's a great one, and it's just saying it's okay.
Exactly.
you didn't turn left, you turned right. It's okay with what you've got. You chose the best option at the time.
Yep.
You know, because we do have an argument with people or a disagreement or something, and we go, oh, if only I'd said that, you know, that would have been a better outcome. Well, it didn't. At the end of the day,
you know,
it didn't.
I think that when we do things like that, that's actually talking smack to ourselves. It's actually being abusive to ourselves.
That's a great one. That's a great way of actually analyzing yourself. I remember reading something somewhere, someone saying that if you talk to yourself the way someone talked to you, would you have them in your friend circle?
Yeah. And
it's like,
and people go, no, I would never talk to somebody like that.
Yeah, I would not talk to anyone like that. No way, no way. But that's exactly it. It is doing that, talking smack.
Talking smack, but you know, and because I have a similar thing that I'll say to people, would you talk to other people like that? You know, when they're saying I'm this, or I should have done this, or I'm a loser.
Oh yeah, that's a.
So I'll say, would you talk to other people like that? And they'll say, absolutely not. No way would I ever talk to another person like that.
That just hit me right in the heart of no way.
Right. But do you know what? So my follow-up question to that is, are you not a people too? Right. We deserve our loving acceptance, our compassionate tone. We deserve to be spoken to as though we are the beloved.
As though we're loved by ourselves, not falsely loved. Yeah. Well, see, that's the whole overthinking too. So what about overthinking? What about overthinking on people with agendas? You meet people and you go, oh, I wonder what their agenda is to me, or wonder what they're in my life for, or what's the purpose of this interaction? Because this is also part of overthinking, not just the overthinking of, I should have said it this way, or I should have done it this way. What do these people want from me? Because that, you know, you have a new social circle, or you're questioning everything.
Right.
So how do you, if you wanted to shut that down, would you shut it down, or would you what?
I would shut it down personally. Yeah. So for me, I would shut it down, because just, you know, feeling into my own self, as you were saying that, feels like I have to be hyper vigilant, because there's always an agenda. There's always something to be looking out for. Somebody's going to want something, need something, take something, be disrespectful, be abusive. It's like, to me, the other part of that is that, so that is a huge piece of overthinking. It's not allowing me to be present, and it's not allowing me to say, I'm in this circle or in this situation or with these people because I can deal with it. For right now, you know that saying about interacting with people, or people coming in to your life for a reason, a season, and a lifetime?
Yep.
So, but we don't get to know that right now. But if we could just trust and then enjoy, find the juicy, fun pieces about it. Where's the joy?
Yeah.
That to me is one of the most, it's actually a very underused piece, is where's the joy? You deserve joy. We deserve joy. We all do.
Well, it's that trust back again as well, isn't it?
Yeah. Which
is such a massive thing. And our overthinking is, God, we overthink quite a lot. Overthinking is, and I'm just going to say, when somebody dabbles outside the relationship, you know, that's that whole thing of overthinking. What does this person bring into my world? Are they going to, you know, do what my last partner did, or, you know, or employee's going to shite on me again, or, you know, it's that whole, because you haven't resolved that story, that scenario, that chaotic moment, that memory, whatever, last time. So you're bringing that back through for you to potentially learn a lesson, or be aware, or what, again and again and again.
You know what that feels like, what you're describing though, and I think we've talked about this before, is when we go around, because that piece that you just described about what if they're going to step out on me, or that person's going to betray me or let me down. to me, that's a lens. I'm looking through something like a filter of some sort because I can't see what's really in front of me because I'm stuck in my head telling a story saying, oh, what about this? Well, how dare I create that and put that energy in there? Because when we do that, we actually run the risk of creating it anyway.
I was going to say, because you know that door comes and slams you on the butt.
Exactly. So it's
again,
like, if
and
you
more
do
than
that,
it was.
well, it's almost like the universe says, oh, so you like that? Here, have some more.
Yeah. It's some more. Bang, 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 bang.
A quick wee message before we get back to this episode. You can get access to a special gift Moira and Debz have put together for you. Go to deliciouslymotivatedmindset.com/gift. When you sign up, you'll receive instant access to an inner peace kit and the 30 Days of Wisdom program, both of which is intended to help you feel deliciously motivated right away. Go to deliciouslymotivatedmindset.com/gift.
But that's all part of that overthinking. So it's about being present in the moment, grateful for what you have or don't have, and move on.
Yep.
Move forward with ease, with your hand on your heart. Move forward, allow it to be.
Yep. And come into your heart.
Yeah.
Because the heart is the true navigator, the true director of our experience of what's potential and what's possible for us. Our head, and we're all conditioned this way, that we get caught up by this crazy making, I'm in control type of thing. Well, I'm in control of the thoughts that I allow to stay in my head. So I don't know about you, but I would prefer to use that control.
I'm in control of the thoughts that I'm allowing into my head. These are golden nugget, people, because that's exactly it. I'm in control, and that will it's just your overthinking will go. Actually, well, I say your overthinking will go. Your overthinking will shift into not worded as overthinking.
That's right. That it'll just be a pattern that you can just let it flow. Because so one of my mentors talks about thoughts, the thinking process, thoughts, and he has to always say that his symbology of it was like it was a big band above our heads. Our brains internally are only the receiver of the thought process which is happening around us or above us or whatever. And so we can see thoughts. When meditation teachers will tell you, if a thought comes up, you just let it float on by like a cloud or float on by like a river.
Yeah.
This is a choice. We can see, oh, look, there's a thought that somebody's going to betray me or let me down. You can just let it sail on by. You don't have to let it sink in and become oh my God, yeah, but what? I have to watch out for myself. I have to do this. The thing is that the thought will always be there. Your responsibility and your power is that you don't have to believe. You don't have to believe any of the thoughts that you're thinking, by the way. I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, I think that's the thing, is you don't have to believe everything that you think until you're ready to go, okay, well, I've filtered through 80% of that, and I'm going to keep 20%, and the other 80% is just a story that I've created, and I'm not entertaining it.
Or the other thing is you can start using it as a wee bit of a game. So something that I'll do is I might have an insight come up for me in a meditation. It might be just a word or a concept. And then later that day, somebody might say those words to me, or I might overhear it, or I read a newsletter and there it is again. On the third time, I'll go, okay, that's for me. Yeah. It's like there's that mental field around me dropping in. So now I'm going to say, okay, what is this where am I supposed to follow this? It's more of a following and using my heart. Coming into your body is really, really important also to avoid the overthinking. When I talk about being in your body, it means being aware. Where are you? Physically, where's your body? How are you feeling? Are you dehydrated? Do you need some sleep? Do you need some physical activity? That all of those checks will actually really bring down the overthinking too, because you're just being then.
Well, you're becoming, and that to me is just like putting your hand on your heart.
Yeah.
And breathing, because it's getting you really present to this moment. Like right now, just focus, when you become chaotic or something happens and you put your hand on your heart and you just stop and you breathe, it slows all that chaos and all that mind chatter down, and you can just start focusing on your breathing.
Yep. Because let's face it, the majority of mind chatter is trying to convince you that something's wrong within you or around you. You have to do more, be more, create more. It doesn't matter what it is. But if you land into this moment, you'll realize everything is good right here, right now. All is well.
Well, when I was thinking about your overthinking, I was thinking, what if? What if? What if that happened? What if that happened? What if that happened? And I think that's the thing. And like, well, what if it did happen? And what if it didn't happen? And that goes alongside that overthinking bubble of, well, what if it did happen? Wow, that would be amazing. But how often, like, I'm trying to think of something, what if I did lose my job? If you're in a conventional job working for somebody, the overthinking, how can we avoid overthinking? So there's redundancies going on. And what if I lost my job? Just for the record, people, I work for myself. So the only way to lose my job is for me to fire myself. And that fired herself. Yeah, we'll just clarify that. What, just so we don't go, oh, I didn't know she was in a job. No, she's not in a job. She's firing herself, but she's not. She's employing herself. She's giving herself a pay rise and giving her more tasks to do. So there's redundancies at work. What if I'm one of those ones who've been made redundant? And this is where the overthinking comes. So I find that the tactic is, okay, if I did get made redundant, what are the blessings to me? What if I did get made redundant? What can I leverage from this? What can I learn from this? What can I go do? What's my skill? So that my overthinking actually shuts it down to a level of, oh, wow, okay, well, and I guess it's a bit of fear. What if is that? And then it's actually, well, if they did let me go, then there's a lot of value to that, because I can then go out and do this. And that shuts that overthinking down. So it's not a repeated story in your mind that is going to cause physical chaos. And when I talk about physical chaos, I'm talking about the lack of sleep, the eating junk food, that I can't go outside and I can't exercise. I'm stressed. I don't even want to, wash my hair, or, and you're into that. And that's that overthinking.
Depression, anxiety type of response.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So what if it did happen? What are the amazing things? What are the gifts that are going to come out of that?
So I like that you said that. It's actually kind of similar to something that I've done and continue to do with clients, because so for me, in that scenario of what if, we are running the risk of creating what we don't want. So
yes, because your thoughts become your things.
Exactly. And we are self-fulfilling prophecies. So you keep thinking that thought, you're going to create it in some shape or form. You're going to. Now, I really encourage people to not take that statement with fear, because I've seen that. So then people get, oh my God, and they get all resisty to the thought that comes up. Like, what if this? It's like, no, it's okay. It's our propensity to think, what if? But here's what I do with my clients is, in fact, this happened last year. I had a client who had a very high level government contract. So he actually was the only wage earner and had a big big
No, I
house
can
and all
already
that.
feel the pressure.
Yep.
I can already feel the pressure.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And so
Yep.
he was convinced that come the end of fiscal year, he was not going to have his contract renewed. And so every time I saw him, he'd be like, what if this? Where am I going? Where? So I said to him one day, okay, just sit down. No more talking.
I don't mean to laugh because we've all been there, just for the record.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you know what I did was I got him to graphically explain to me what he would do, because I said to him, okay, I'm taking all of this away and I want you to imagine it happened. Done. Your contract did not get renewed. What are you going to do? And
At that point, that person on their knees going, I can't breathe. What did you do to me?
It was really magical, because at that point, no more chatter. He looks at me and he goes, well, you know, I've got a massive Rolodex. He's actually really well known in his industry. He's a computer whiz kid. Yeah. And he said, well, I'd polish up my resume and I'd just fire out a message to everybody in my network and say, do you know anybody that needs this kind of project or whatever? Can't remember all the words, but he was like, oh, it'd be so easy. This is how I did. And I said, good. So now can you stop thinking, oh my God, what if? He was like, yeah. So here's the funny part of that.
Well, that's very similar to me. That's exactly the same. Yeah.
So you want to know the funny part of it? His contract did get renewed, but within 2 months he quit because he got a bigger, better offer than far beyond anything that he could have imagined. Isn't that awesome?
Oh, that's the value of overthinking, people.
Well, that's the value of using it to then say, okay, let's go in and entertain that worst case scenario that we're trying to run away from. That, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. No, just sit there for a moment. Just imagine, yep, it's happened. I just got made redundant. I lost the partner. I lost the business deal. What would you do? There's always something. If you sit and you can put your hand over your heart and you can just close your eyes and visualize it, and there will be some intelligence within you that goes, oh, look, I can do this.
And that opens up so much more, so that focusing what you visualize, when your thoughts become your things, that you're visualizing on a bigger and better opportunity for you and those around you and those you serve, as in his clients, etc., who are going to have a greater impact. Mm-hmm. Because we're no longer... So how can we avoid overthinking? Don't avoid it, embrace it, and
exactly
love it.
Recognize that it's part of our human propensity to do stuff, but then when you look at it and use it, because remember, you're the driver of this bus, right? So I said that back at the beginning of our conversation, is I choose which thoughts are going to circulate and come through my mind. The ones that don't serve, it's like, thanks, got it. It's okay. I don't need you.
Yeah, so it's like a sieve. Mm-hmm. Do you call them sieves?
Yes, we do.
A sieve, yeah, okay. Yeah. I know you're not that weird. I was like, maybe we should know. Yeah, so it's like a sieve, and you get the lumps at the top, and the other stuff filters through. So it's just filtering through,
coming through.
Yeah, when you stop and you acknowledge and you recognize and you put your hand on your heart and just breathe and take a moment and what's best for you. Yeah. And
let that your heart will always steer you in the right way.
Yeah. And when you were telling me that story, I wasn't overthinking to the end result. I was sitting present to that. But that's exactly how it goes, because we do tend to have that whole scenario of what's going to happen. What's going to happen? And it is. And our stories we create. Oh my God, we come up with stories. The clients, I laugh a lot. I laugh a lot. And the clients, when they say, well, what if this happens? I'm like, do you know anybody that's ever happened to? Like, where? And they're like, no. I'm like, so where did you get that from? I don't know. But what if it did? I'm like, are you serious? Like, nobody in the whole wide world, you've ever heard that story. But what if it did? And I'm like, oh my God, where do you get these ideas from? Because we go to such chaos sometimes in our mind that we honestly, some of the stuff the clients say to me, and I laugh at them and with them, and we do, and we all laugh in the
way,
end.
I'm sure.
But oh yes, yeah, definitely. But I mean, I overthink as well. We all do overthink. Don't think we're perfection in everything, because it allows us to get present and decide what's important to us right here, right now.
Absolutely.
If you're overthinking your past, and if I'd said that, and if only I'd said that, and if only I'd said that, this is the stuff that just keeps coming in, and you put your stories onto other people when people say things, and you are passing on. I'm going to say virus, which is you're passing on that virus to somebody else. You're passing on that your story to somebody else, and it's like a virus, isn't it? It's like you've just coughed on someone and you've given them something, and they've taken splatters of that.
Yeah.
I don't, I can't believe I just described it that way, but that's exactly it, because that's our overthinking can splatter onto other people to give them a story that they have. So choose your words carefully. Think before you open your mouth.
Well, the other part here too is, don't you think that storytelling, that overthinking can actually be linked to a lack of self-worth too? Are you worthy of thinking kind, loving, confident, powerful, empowering pieces, right?
And saying nice things to yourself again.
Exactly.
We talked about that, yeah.
I'm just remembering another client story where she had a physical ailment, and I really had the sense energetically that she could cure herself, that she could get rid of it. But the story she kept telling me was that, and herself of course, was that everybody in her family had it. Everybody in her family, it just passed down genetically, and this, and I just thought, well, isn't that too bad? It's like, because and we do become self-fulfilling prophecies. So I didn't tell her she was wrong or try and get into any kind of argument about it, but I held space for it and helped her look at other things. It took her a year, but she did it.
Wow.
And
when really, I would be wanting to shake her up by that stage, but just hold the space. They're gonna realize it soon.
Soon. And it did take her a while, but that one was a real honor to watch, because so here's the thing for me with the work that I do, I can't show up with an agenda.
Yeah.
If I show up with an agenda in that case where I say, oh, I have to change your mind, dude, I have to change your thinking, it's not going to serve her or me.
Yeah.
I can have the idea internally and maybe meditate on it a bit, or maybe make some suggestions when she's ready. But it's all varying degrees. And to your point, you just said it, that we all overthink. We all do that. So to me, the secret is, how quickly can you realize, whoopsie, there I did it again.
Acknowledgement, yeah.
Yeah.
And then you can filter it through in this of, am I going to take this information as gospel, or am I going to find out what it's really, and I hear people say, oh, I don't have time to do that. I don't have time to do this. I don't have time to read that book. And it's like, well, how long is it going to take you to stop, reflect? 30 seconds, 45 seconds, a minute. I'm not saying sit down, find a spot, go somewhere and spend an hour trying to overanalyze something and go over it. I'm not saying that. I'm saying it can be resolved in 30 seconds or less. You do have the time if you really truly would like to evolve as a person.
Absolutely. And that's the whole point, is we do make time for the things that are most important.
Absolutely.
And time is like, to your point, it takes, what was that, 10 seconds to put my hand over my heart.
Yeah.
That's it. And then the other thing too is focus on your breathing. That helps anchor you, ground you into this present moment. And when you're taking those deep, nurturing, loving breaths, you actually then realize, oh, what am I worried about?
I was going to snort. But that's it. When you stop, I don't mean to snort, excuse me, but when you stop and you actually, and then you go, really? Did I really get myself into such a pickle?
Got my
Yes, you
knickers
did.
in a twist over what?
Massively over something, and you've got yourself into a complete turmoil of stuff. Yeah,
absolutely.
We do.
I think this is an area we will come back and have some more conversations, because we're kind of running out of time on this one. But this has been a good start into looking at overthinking.
We've just peeled back one little layer. I would say there's quite
agree.
We're going to overthink this one. And we're going to come up with more. But no, I do think we've peeled back a little layer, a little eye opener to overthinking. How can we avoid overthinking?
How can we tell our brains to just go be quiet and choose thoughts that are uplifting and make your heart sing. That's the nice
Respect
way
yourself. Yeah.
So, dear listeners, we encourage you to just check in with yourself again on that scale, 0 to 10. And where are you now?
What are they going to think of me now? So I was a 4.5. I feel really lovely.
Good.
I would probably say, I was thinking 2, but I think I'm going to say a 3, because it just interesting. So I say 2 and then I go 3, because it seems like such a big jump. No, I'm going to say 2.
Good.
Oh, overthinking jumped in there. I'm going to say a 2, because I feel really like,
Good. I would say I'm at a 2 also. See, we can zen out together now.
Yeah. see, people, I evolved more than her. Because I went from 4.5 to a 2. No.
Okay, in that case, I'm 0. No.
Oh, damn.
No, I think so that's a really fun piece to just interject there too, is that overthinking often is us comparing ourselves and judging ourselves based upon what we see other people. Oh, they're better.
Okay, that's the next level.
Deb's better than me because she did more improvement. It's like, no, we don't have space for that.
Yeah, I haven't got time to compare myself to Moira. She's got a different accent to me.
Absolutely. That's what makes this so deliciously
motivating
fun.
Yeah. Oh, wow. So thank you, listeners. Thank you. I appreciate that, for allowing me to overthink and underthink. Yeah.
Over and under. This has been an awesome conversation. Thank you, Deb. Thank you, dear listeners.
Thank you.
Thanks.